Coming at you live from Lifeway Studios.
Hey, what's up, my friends? Welcome to Heart to Heart with your boy, Glow. In case you missed it, I'm Glow and I run this show. Bars. Hence the title. On Heart to Heart, we talk about all things real, ideal, and what you feel. You feel me? Anyways, it's time for tonight's segment, Letters from the Heart. Letters from the Heart is our advice segment where we get to hear from viewers just like you. When it comes to the matters of the heart, love can be difficult to navigate. It's hard out here, folks, but my job is simple. To hear your point of view and point you to the starter of something new, God. All right, friends, you know what to do. Let's read that mail. We got a letter here from Cade in Paducah, Kentucky, with a little bit of a big, and I do mean big, problem. Cade writes, Dear Glow, just wanted to thank you in advance for even reading this. If I'm being real with you, last month was tough. I feel like in some way, every February is kind of tough. It's like Valentine's Day is plastered everywhere, in the stores, on TV, at school. Even some of my friends were love crazy this year. The whole love concept is pushed everywhere. But if I'm being honest, Glow, I don't even know if love's that great of a thing. It changes people, it makes them act differently. It's weird. And if love is so great, why is it couldn't keep my parents happy? All they ever did was fight growing up, and now they're together, but love obviously isn't keeping them happy. And if love is so great, why does it make people do crazy things? If love is so great, why does it seem to always leave someone hurt? On top of that, everyone uses the word love so loosely that I don't even know if it means anything anymore. How can someone love dinosaur chicken nuggets and love their friend using the same word? I just don't get it. Why even bother to love when it's so complicated? Wow. What I love about Letters from the Heart is we really do get letters from the heart on this show. Cade, I feel you, man. Reading between the lines here, I can tell that you've obviously walked through some hard situations, seeing the lack of joy in your parents' relationship, witnessing pain and sadness disguised as lost love, and seeing a lack of real love can affect a person. In the movies, love is portrayed as this overwhelming feeling that controls and commands your actions. Love can seem like both a weapon for destruction and a tool for construction. Here's what I know. Letting our experiences of love define what love is limits us. Culture can't define love. Our experiences or lack of experiences can't define love. But you know who can? The one who created it, God. Let's hop into Paul's words in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and have a heart to heart. To understand where we're going, well, we need to understand where we are. Paul is the writer of the majority of the New Testament of the Bible, and in Acts chapter 9, it tells us all about how Jesus radically changed Paul's life, leading him away from persecuting Christians and speaking against Jesus to living his life for Jesus. Paul spends the remainder of his life traveling, sharing the good news of Jesus, and planted churches. And sometimes, well, these churches would get a little out of hand. They would act up and act out. So Paul had to put pen to paper and let them know what was up. In this letter to the Corinthian church, Paul was addressing all kinds of issues, from the arguments that went on to the spiritual gifts being used and abused, to pride, sexual immorality, and cliques and more. In chapter 13 in particular, Paul is addressing people who believed that they were above others because they had certain spiritual gifts. Yet Paul let them know that they were missing the secret sauce, love. Paul writes in verses 1 through 3, if I speak human or angelic tongues but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and understanding all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so that I can move mountains but do not have love, I am nothing. And if I give away all my possessions, and if I give over my body in order to boast but do not have love, I gain nothing. Paul is showing us here that there is a major difference between this and this. You can have all the gifts in the world. I mean, be the absolute nicest person, serve often, be the most generous person on the block, or even have a huge faith that's inspiring. But if you don't have love, then all you're giving the people around you is nothing but noise. Noise not only startles people, but it's displeasing to listen to. It pushes people away. Noise is literally a byproduct of a disunity of sounds. But the love Paul writes about here is a different kind of love. In fact, Paul uses the Greek word agape to refer to the specific kind of love he's urging the Corinthian church and the church of today to adopt. This agape type love is a love that loves without switching up. A love that gives freely without demands or expectations. A love that knows no bounds. A love that gives out of overflow. A love that loves regardless of if you're loved back. That type of love, Paul writes, is the love that is pleasing to the ears and hearts of those around you. That type of love brings people closer together. It inspires change. Why? Because that type of love is the very love of God. And Jesus modeled it for us in choosing to die for us and in his resurrection. With that, how do we define love? Paul drops one of the biggest classics of all time, and maybe you've heard it at a wedding. It goes a little something like this. Love is patient. Pause. Notice how Paul isn't describing what love feels like. He's talking through love in action. He's talking through how you can spot real and true Christ-like love. And he begins with how love is patient. Patience is a struggle. I'll be the first one to admit that. I can oftentimes be impatient, but patience is an adjective that describes how you navigate waiting. Are you always in a hurry? Always wanting to rush things and get your own way? Or do you wait with patience, resting in the fact that God's timing is the best timing? Next, he writes, love is kind. Not nice, but kind. To be nice is to be well-mannered and friendly, but to be kind is to be good-natured, generous in your actions, compassionate and tender. Kindness is a whole lot deeper. Then Paul flips this whole thing and goes from telling us what love is to what love isn't. He says in the rest of verse 4 all the way through 6, love does not envy. In other words, love isn't discontent or resentful or jealous, which tells us the opposite is true. Love is content, joyful, and satisfied. Love isn't boastful or full of pride and a need to show off. Love isn't arrogant, rude, self-seeking, or irritable. But love is full of humility and steady in all circumstances. Love doesn't keep records of wrongs, but love does forgive continuously. Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, but it does find joy in the truth of God. Paul then writes in verse 7 that love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. In other words, love covers all. Love believes the best in all. Love has hope and confidence in God, and love endures. It doesn't give up. And even better, when you read these verses, you can easily replace the word love with Jesus. Jesus fully and perfectly embodied all of these things. Listen, I don't know what your experiences are. I don't know what you've walked through. I don't know who may have hurt you or what you may have witnessed. But I can tell you, love is not abusive. It is not manipulative. It is not angry. It does not make you blind to the truth. Love, Christ-like love, is good because God created it, friends. In fact, love was created by God to reveal God. God is the full embodiment of love and wants us to love others out of this definition and no other one. Paul ends this section of the letter by telling the Corinthian church that their gifts will only get them so far. But what will ultimately carry them and the very thing that will remain is faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these three being love. And that's a word for the heart. Cade, if you're out there listening, man, I really enjoyed this letter. My prayer is that you and anyone else listening sees that love is so much more than you realize. Culture can't define love because culture didn't create love. Your experiences can't define love because your experience didn't create love. Only God can define the true original meaning of the word and how we can demonstrate it. We can only love like God when we love God. And I fully believe that God's love letters to us will always show us how. Well, thanks again for always writing and tuning in. Thank you, Cade. Thank you to our live audience. And most importantly, thank you, God. We'll see you again here next week on Heart to Heart.